and they're really pleased with the structure and how it's working, so they're fully on board, which is great.
Thank you. Any final questions? Councillor Scott.
A couple, if I may, Mr Chairman. One was just referring back to your split on accommodation and attractions between Hastings and area and Napier. Was that without the Hungry Horse being available, the MTGG?
Yes.
Dreadful acronym. I don't know how they settled on that.
I'm trying to think if they filled it in. I can't remember if they filled the survey in, but they...
So would that boost the availability, or was it taken
No, I
into
think
account?
they're included in that number.
Is that? Yeah. Okay. And Mr Chairman, if I may have one other question. In the mail, with the free newspapers and things, I received a flyer from a prospective Labour candidate for the next general election, saying obviously tourism is failing in Napier. Has he actually sought accurate information, or given what we had, the submissions to our annual plan from quite a number of key Napier operators supporting the direction it was going, I find it a little bit surprising.
No, I haven't spoken to the candidate, but I will.
Annie, thanks very much, and George, presentation. You mentioned cycling on the East Coast Rail line. I didn't comment at the time, but I think I just should mention that I wouldn't hold your breath too much about that. But from a positive viewpoint, this council is backing a consortium that's looking to reopen that line, and a member of that consortium is an excursion operator, and his intention would be to base a steam loco here and carriages to do excursions, and I believe that that would be a very good addition to the tourism product. While we're talking about rail, I'll just mention this, and you have no responsibility in it, of course, but you are an influencer. A couple of weekends ago, the Paeatua Railcar Society bought their 1937 standard railcar up here, and within a couple of days of it being advertised, all of the excursions were booked out. So that, again, focused around Art Deco, works extremely well. But there's a slight problem, and as I say, it's nothing to do with you, but you might be able to influence things in the future. The state of the Napier railway station is just shocking. There's a whole wall covered in graffiti, and what's even worse and even more easily fixable is the rubbish and stuff that was lying around the tracks. So it was a very, very poor introduction to Napier, which generally is a very clean and tidy place. Now, I've spoken to Peter Mooney, I've spoken to Kathy Furlong, but if you can just tuck it away in the back of your mind for when this sort of thing starts happening again. Yep,
happy to.
Thank you.
Councillor Reynolds.
Just thank you, and thanks for the presentation. Reading your comments about Waikato Moana, which I fully support, because I think that is one of the 5 great national walks that we have. It's fantastic. Would you perhaps consider coming and talking to the Transport Committee about the importance of that, because we do have NZTA people on that, and I know certainly Wairoa supports the improvement of the road to Waikato Moana, which can be a problem. And secondly, Ellen, of course, is the chair of that at the moment. And the second thing is, as far as the railway goes, I think there's still plans afoot to restore the railway line, etc. So, I'm not really sure how feasible actually having a cycleway on the railway is at the moment.
There's actually one. It's not. It actually maintains the track. I don't know if you've seen it, but it's a clip-on. It's actually fabulous. So it maintains the railway line, but it gives people the chance to cycle on the line. So you could have it's a fantastic, which is built bar chap in Gisborne, and he's planning, which would mean that the railway line is maintained, and you could still do you could do a combination of tourism things.
No, you can't. You can't have trains and cycles.
But
on a railway line.
you can have a schedule, and yeah. Well, he's in heavy talks with Kiwi Rail over it.
We're in heavy talks with Kiwi Rail too, and that's one thing Kiwi Rail are a bit adamant about. No way, for safety reasons, do you mix up trains and bikes.
I think to sum that up, though, we'll have an answer shortly on the short haul rail opportunity, and whether that is a button pushed or not, at least we'll have some clarity in the next few months, hopefully. Any other questions? Someone happy to move? You happy to move? Councillor Scott, seconded Councillor Remusall. You wish to speak, Councillor Scott?
Thank you for a very interesting and thorough report. I am encouraged by the trends. I think the accommodation sector is something that is in flux because choice has expanded a lot, and we've actually got to recognise that in how we treat the figures. So very pleasing to see that you are picking up other indicators as well that give us a better feel for tourism. And I just encourage you to keep on with the new product. I think Fork is a brilliant concept, and I think it is likely to be established in the future. So it's just pleasing to see that new things are being introduced and can tick along. So thank you for the report.
Thank you.
Councillor Remusall, you wish to speak? I'll just take a chance to say a couple of things before I put it to the vote. I've enjoyed working with you guys as a director. It's one of the most pleasurable functions I perform, or one of many. But I've learned a lot about our sector, our region. I've also learnt a lot about how you've G'd things up. You've driven the overheads down, Annie, and you've certainly raised the profile of Hawke's Bay tourism, and it's actually a pleasure for the regional council to be involved on that basis. So if councillors go to the P&L report in this paper, you're running a tight ship, and we as council appreciate the effort that goes in and the results that you are getting back. So there will be a discussion with the new council about what the future looks like, and I encourage you to bring those successes to the table of the new council when we get into the annual plan round, and we'll have that discussion, or the new council will be only too happy to have that discussion with Hawke's Bay Tourism about what the future looks like. But from this end, you've done a great job, guys, so thank you. Any other speakers, Councillor?
Mr. Chairman, I just too would like to add my voice to compliment you on your report today. I thought it was one of the better reports that we've received for a long time, and it's interesting as we come to the end of a triennium to look back to where we started, particularly with tourism, and to see the growth and the maturity that's developed through your leadership, and I think you should be complimented for that. So it was a pleasing report today, and I personally wish you very well for the future.
No other speakers. I'll put that motion in. All those in favour, please say aye. Contrary, no. Carried. We'll break for morning tea, but I think you have a comment just before we go.
Mr. Chairman, there will be a change to the schedule after morning tea. Rather appropriate when the word fog was mentioned. I did duck out, and as expected, Mr. Winder's plane is delayed by fog here in Napier. He's expecting to land now at 11:30, so his presentation would not be until probably 12.
Thank you. Please join us for a cup of coffee if you've got time. Back here in 10 minutes, please. 10:22. Thank you.